I didn't see you there. Well, if you got 4 or 5 minutes, I can tell you what global warming is. Well, I shouldn't use the term global warming. I should rather use the term climate change because there can be an increase in cold weather too. Before I go any further, I should really set up the distinction between climate change and weather. Now, climate is the average weather of a certain area on Earth over a 30-year period, but weather is the day-to-day changes in variables such as temperature, wind, precipitation. So, as we go into this topic, we should keep those differences in mind. Climate change is a change in the climate. It's been naturally occurring on our Earth for millions and millions of years. Some extreme examples are the Permian extinction and the Ice Age. Now, these are extreme and they did kill off species, but they took very long periods of time to occur. Very unlike our modern day society, where humans have exponentially increased the rate of climate change due to introduction of harmful gases such as CO2 and methane. Now that I've said humans have introduced CO2 and methane into the atmosphere, I'll tell you how we're doing it. One way humans do it is we mine coal from the earth in various ways, and then we burn it at plants, and that introduces CO2 into the atmosphere. Another way is driving cars, which burns oil, which is a fossil fuel, and that releases CO2 to the atmosphere. And then we also have industrialization of agriculture, and that obviously is going to be involved with the supply and demand market. And if the population is growing and they're demanding more and more, just as cows on a farm, they're going to be supplying more and more cows, and that produces more methane. Now, these are ways we introduce CO2 into the atmosphere, but there are also ways that we harm the atmosphere by not introducing it, by making our already natural situation worse. One way is we clear trees for things like more land for farming or just for housing or the lumber industry. And these trees are helping us take CO2 from the atmosphere, but if we're just cutting them down, then we're just making our situation worse. Then you have a heat island, which is an urban area that is significantly warmer than its surrounding rural areas due to human activity such as laying down asphalt and making buildings out of concrete, which has a lower albedo, causing the sunlight to be absorbed and rather than reflected, which raises the ambient temperatures of the area. Therefore, it's a heat island. Now, to bring you my associate Linton Meridor to talk to you about the effects of climate change.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Titsworth. And let's get right into the effects of climate change. Number 1, the polar ice caps. Due to the increasing levels of CO2 in the atmosphere, the temperature in the environment has gradually increased. This has caused the polar ice caps to melt. Because dark ocean water has a lower albedo than the ice, the water absorbs more heat from the atmosphere, causing temperatures to rise. Global temperatures are affected by rising heat levels in the ocean. Water affected by these rising heat levels are then moved around the world by ocean currents. Rising heat levels in the ocean cause sea levels to rise due to thermal expansion. Now that I've explained how the heat levels rise in the ocean, I'll explain the effects of a warmer ocean. A warmer ocean can cause coral reefs to lose their primary food source, which will lead to their eventual death. If coral reefs are destroyed, then there is less natural protection against floods and ocean storms. Without this natural protection, coastal cities are more prone to a greater loss of life in the event of a natural disaster. Climate change doesn't only affect the ocean, but it also affects the land. Climate change can cause stronger and more frequent heat waves, which can lead to droughts. These droughts can cause famine, which leads to loss of human life. Climate change not only causes heat waves, but can also drown certain plants through increased rates of precipitation. Rapid changes in climate force animals to migrate due to habitat loss. These animals are forced into environments that cannot sustain them. And now, back over to you, Maxwell.
Thanks, Linton, for helping me teach a wide audience what climate change is. And I hope through these 4 or 5 minutes, you've learned something too. Now have a nice day.